All right, Scott, it's been a little while, but I love this because we get to learn a lot from one of the top attorneys around.
No kidding. He's a legal expert, and we are honored to have him on this very show.
That's right. Michael Akiva, welcome back in. Good to see you. There he is. How are you?
Always good to see you. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Very good.
Fantastic.
All right, Michael Akiva, of course, managing partner at California's largest personal injury firm, Jacoby Meyers.
Big time.
Thanks for being here again. We're going to mix it up a little bit this time. I know you've been on in the past. We've kind of talked about some things, but now we've invited some of our Studio 40 Live viewers to actually ask a question. All right,
cool.
Which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And they've come up with some pretty good ones.
All right, so Michael, you ready? Or can we put you on the hot seat with some of these questions that came in?
Let's do it.
All right. So our first question, it came from a concerned mom. It said, Dear Michael, I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and the driving discussions have officially started. What do parents like me need to know about the teen driving laws here in California? Good question.
It's a big one. That's a scary one. I remember those driving discussions when I was a kid. I don't know how my parents let me drive in the first place. Like I shouldn't even been a passenger in the car.
Oh boy,
we're with you.
But one thing I'll say is, thankfully the California system follows a very regimented path for teen drivers. So it's not like the equivalent of just throwing a kid in the deep end and seeing how they swim. There's a lot of steps that a teenager has to take in order to become a fully licensed driver. And it all starts with a learner's permit. So at 15 and a half, a teenager can start by taking a written exam, and that written exam will give them a learner's permit. They pass it, they get to go to the second stage, which is they go through driver's education. That's where that guy's sitting in the car next to you and he has the brake pedal just in case you do something foolish.
Right.
And he just stops the car. So you do that, and then you go and get a provisional permit. A provisional permit allows you to drive with an adult in the car. So someone who's over the age of 25, a parent, something like that, where they can give you advice, they can shadow you, they can make sure you're doing things correctly. There's a certain number of hours you have to be behind the wheel with a provisional permit before you can apply for a provisional license. And there's even a certain number of hours they want you driving in the dark at night before you can apply for a provisional license. But once you've met those requirements, you can then get a provisional license at the age of 16. And when you get the provisional license, you still can't drive fully. There's many restrictions on what you can and can't do behind the wheel at that point. And then after you've, let's say, done that for about, I think, 12 months, then you can have a full license where you're allowed to drive fully. And so there's really a graduated path that they take in order to make sure that really the teenager learns to drive responsibly and fully before the training wheels are taken off, so to speak.
That's incredible. And I guess one thing that the laws are going to be different, obviously, California to other places. And Michael, are they changing often? How do you stay up with everything with all the changes?
Yeah, so the DMV will constantly make modifications. They'll make tweaks. Are they overhauling the system? No, but they'll make tweaks to the system. So one thing I'll suggest to all your viewers and to this concerned mom is just check the DMV website because they do change it. From my perspective, just being an injury lawyer, the one thing I'll say to every one of your listeners, make sure they have insurance. So a lot of times we think, well, I'm covered, everyone in my house is covered. But in fact, if I'm not specifically including my teenager in my driver's policy, my insurance policy, they're not included. And so while we think our teenagers out there driving and they're covered and everything's safe and sound, in fact, if they're not on the policy, they're off the policy. So either get them their own policy or add them to your own before they start driving behind that wheel.
Gosh, that's so good.
Yeah, great information. Yeah, and there's so much that goes into a teen driving now. And like we were talking about, all of us when we were teens, it was just like, here you go, get out there. And I was like, all right, here we go, I'm cruising. So I guess that's good. Got to be safe.
No doubt. There was definitely no provisional system when I was a teenager. I mean, it was just, I take the written exam, I go to driver's ed, and I'm off on my own, basically. Let's just drive now.
Right.
I'm going to say this, you turned out okay. So, I mean, I think maybe there's something about that, but who knows. Michael, we love this new segment, Justice Matters. We appreciate you guys at Jacoby and Meyers sharing this kind of legal advice, your perspective. You obviously know it all. There it is there, all the information about Jacoby and Meyers. Love this. Love Justice Matters, right?
Yeah, fantastic. Great
Make sure
segment.
to keep those questions coming. All those legal questions are important to Jacoby and Meyers, and they're important to us. You can contact them, 1-800-5-MILLION, or visit jacobyandmeyers.com.